Hello YouTube, we'll look at episode 1 in the Onimonogatari reaction series, that being a smaller part of the second season of the Monogatari reaction series. So right off the bat, sorry for the delay, was unwell yesterday, which was Monday, today being Tuesday, so now I am 1 day behind, and will subsequently probably take 1 day to catch up, unless I really get my shit into gear, and anyway. But my point is, sorry for the delay. I was unwell. But it is what it is. People get unwell, and I don't want to record stuff when I'm unwell because, yeah, it makes for bad content. And especially with reaction videos, you only get one shot, so you can't really do it again. So I really want to make sure I'm okay for those. As you can see, I'm feeling really well today. I'm actually buzzed off the coffee at the moment, which is good. Coffee and drugs, they do wonders for sure. So last week some shit went down. It really did. Otori Monogatari, ladies and gentlemen. And after having kind of a week to sit on it, yeah, it's really quite amazing actually. Especially the perspective stuff, which I'll get into a little bit here in the comment summary, which I guess I'll just jump into now. So Jump Bueno starts with our comment summary by having this point about Nadeko being cute, but going about it a wrong way. So she hates being called cute, right? Instead of trying to improve other aspects of herself to overcome this label of just being cute, right? She goes the opposite way. So she doesn't study or get really good at sports, like, say, a Hanakawa or a Kambaru or any of these other people, right? She doesn't have a talent beyond that. She doesn't have relevance to the story beyond that, right? She instead mutes all the other parts of her character, I guess, all of her cuteness, right? She wears a lot of hats, as we've seen. She wears a lot of hats, a lot of baggy clothes. She keeps bangs in front of her face to hide her face. So all these other things. She talks quietly. She doesn't talk in a very cute, or she does talk in a very cutesy way, but you know what I mean? Like, instead of focusing on other things, she just dulls whatever she has already. And she ends up being nothing as a result, and being the object of nobody's affection, really. Nobody really even talks about her. So I think that's a very interesting way of looking at it. Can we look into this with our lottery ticket and prayer idea as well? Instead of working for something, instead of going and attaining it and working hard, she's kind of opted for the easy way out in a way, right? Kind of. It wasn't easy in the end, but you know what I mean, right? And because she took that shortcut, what happened to her happened, and I think that's an interesting little message there for the story. John Bueno also brings up that there's a difference between scrunchy Kuchinawa and normal Kuchinawa that now exists because she ate the thing. So the scrunchy was a figment of her delusion, which, again, Hot Wheels Kid says later, something interesting as well that I failed to pick up. Kind of that the story is from the perspective of somebody that has already gone kind of insane. So she's kind of backfilling this scrunchy Kuchinawa based on the real Kuchinawa, which is weird. Yeah, that is really strange. So she's created this delusion when telling the story that Scrunchy Kuchinawa existed the whole time and was telling her to do things, and that she was a natural victim, even though, why is Scrunchy Kuchinawa so similar to the actual Kuchinawa? Bro, that's opened up a can of worms just right in front of me right now. I'm kind of losing it. Yeah, this show's crazy, by the way. Anyway, Gian Bueno and MC Steve go on to talk about the stacked VA cast. I've definitely gone through that ANN and seen like, oh yeah, I know like all of these names. That's pretty crazy. I don't want to get too specific because if you click on a VA, it'll tell you what segment of Monogatari they're in, if you know what I mean. So say, I don't know, for some reason, maybe Kambaru dies. I don't know, that's just a random guess, right? If I saw Kambaru's name stopped at like 3/4 of the way through the series and didn't come back again, maybe she didn't even die. Maybe she just leaves the show for some reason, kind of like Oshino Meme, right? That's a spoiler, and I don't want that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to dive into the VA stuff specifically, maybe right at the end, but before then I'm really spoiler conscious. I don't know if you've noticed. One of the biggest parts of last episode as well was the POV stuff. This is probably the most evident example in Monogatari so far of the change of perspective and how it impacts the story. A lot of delusion, a lot of things that may not be the way they actually are, a lot of changes between this and Araragi's POV, for sure. It also, because this exists, it calls into question Araragi's POV, and that's what we've talked about before. The no people, the perverted tendencies, the shots that go from the legs up to the head, because you're checking them out. Like, yeah, that's Araragi, right? The other part is in the novel, Nadeko is an average-ish student, so the novel itself has a lot of orthographical errors, which is very funny to me. Like, you're just writing something purposefully wrong because you're writing from the perspective of a character that would write them incorrectly. That's kind of cool, though. Either way, comments there by Gian Bueno, Cochin51, and Dharma Imancia. I didn't have many comments about my setup from last week, my little analysis segment stuff. So I'm going to imagine that no news is good news in that regard, which is good. The one comment I did get was from Nathaniel, who said he preferred it over the old one, but could use like, hey, your face cam's covering part of the screen, which I mean, there isn't really an ideal to do that considering that it's in. Anyway, so what I've kind of devised, right, is so hey, here's this image of the audio test I did before. I could set it up like this, right? So my cam really isn't too in the way, and then you get a larger view of this still. This is very weird looking, by the way. There's like a big me up over there. Anyway, yeah, I think this could work. But I don't know. I might just switch back to the old one as well, unless I get some support for this one. I don't know. But either way, with the setup stuff, I've heard no news to say the old style was better, so we're going to keep this one. That's basically what I'm saying. G-Bird had a very interesting comment here. Thanks for not hating her. I always find this perspective so weird from people, right? They do it in a lot of different shows, right? Where a character does something, evil or morally dubious or any of the other things, right? There's lots of pieces of media, not even in the Japanese sphere, that do stuff like this, and then the fan base turns and hates them on some kind of moral ground. It's a piece of fiction. They're interesting because they made that decision, right? We're not supposed to morally agree with everything everybody does, right? That would be very boring. We would get bog standard hero characters for everything, right? I found her motivation, if not personally believable for her, you know? And that, I think that's more important. I think take a step back from something. Don't think about it from your perspective and your set of morals. Think about it from theirs. And I think you'll have a way better time with fiction, everybody that hates her for whatever reason. I think it's also because the implicit timer on the series that she's put on, maybe, as well. So the way I see it is we're going to end at graduation, right? That's where the series is going to end. That's when Nadeko is going to do the deed and blah, 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 blah. That's the stakes, right? From that perspective, I can understand why the fandom's mad, because we don't get a happily ever after for Araragi and Senjugahara. But again, that is so far in the future that I can't even talk about it. I could just be completely wrong, right? But no, I don't know why anybody would hate her. She's interesting, right? She actually literally went from boring to interesting. That's part of the meta narrative of the arc. I don't know, weird one. Nathaniel also questioned kind of my, I guess, assertion that she won in the end, right? Because did she really? She wanted Araragi and she didn't get Araragi. Instead, she just attained godhood, right? I see it more in the meta sense that she attained relevance to the story, right? I see, put this face up on screen. I think this is the face of somebody that thinks they've won. So an insane person deluding themselves into thinking they've won even though they didn't get what they really wanted in the end? Maybe. Maybe she's just happy that she's got some lines now and some actual, again, relevance to the story. I don't know. Again, this face is of somebody that has won to me. Whatever she thinks it is, she's won it, right? Dobroz, he kind of blew my mind here with this detail. So remember the sand pit, right, where she's playing in the sand, and then Araragi comes and finds her and said, hey, we're going to my place. And then, like, it cuts to a weird shot, and she kind of smiles. Put it up here if I'm not lazy, editing me. Yeah, this is because she always wanted to get into his house to get the key. Isn't that kind of crazy? Isn't it a crazy detail? That blew my mind. That's amazing. There must be so much stuff like that on rewatches. It's weird. I can't wait to rewatch it. You know what I mean? Backslash and Hot Wheels Kid had some conjecture here about Ore-sama versus Watashi. This is getting into the Japanese weeds a little bit, so bear with me. She calls herself Ore-sama when she's talking to the class, right? When she's having her little meltdown in episode 3, right? She normally uses watashi, and the way I understand it is that watashi is only really used by children, like very young children. It's very cutesy, right? Unless you're playing a character, you wouldn't really use it. I think a lot of people tend to use Boku and then go Ore as they get older. But Ore-sama is like, Sama means like God, right? So I am God, and then maybe Kuchinawa, there's some implications about him speaking there too, which is strange. But then there's a scene with the confrontation between Araragi and Nadeko, where she's already swallowed the thing, and she says there's a notable difference between Nadeko, which she may refer to as Watashi, and then Ore, which is what she uses for her new self. So again, there's some Japanese subtext there about her changing, right? Changing out of her old form into something new. And yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting. So thanks for the comment there. There was another theory from Hot Wheels Kid as well that I've kind of talked about before. The whole story is from the perspective of somebody that has already gone insane. She's kind of retelling it. Maybe she's retelling it in a way to make her seem like more of a victim to this Kuchinawa-san because it makes for a better story. Some kind of delusion there still existing. Again, perspective is so important, and having an insane person tell you a story that has some notable errors in it, that after the story finishes being told, they break down why the story is fake and why it's a delusion. I think that's pretty interesting too. Nailu here with the next comment, which is just a very nice comment about liking the videos and catching up with the videos and appreciating my stuff, and thank you. Those comments make my day, so thank you for those. We have a lot of flashbacky stuff from Kramer. The next few points are all from Kramer, I guess I should say. So Kambaru foreshadowing Nadeko as the final boss in Nisei episode 3. I don't remember seeing this or remembering this, but I guess I did. That's kind of funny. That is pretty classic Nishio Sin hiding the answer in plain sight. Also, think back to Bake. There was a random scene with Araragi and Nadeko where Araragi, it's the skirt scene essentially, right? And when everybody's like, you'll get it later, this is why. Like, she doesn't want her hair touched, but she's okay with Araragi flipping the skirt. She's way more protective of the hair, the bangs, the hiding of her true self than, I guess, her body, you would say, right? Because again, she's romantically interested in Araragi. She doesn't. If this is how Araragi wants it, this is how he can have it, right? That's her perspective on the whole thing, right? But the hair's a no-go. The hair's what's hiding the real me from everybody else. So Nadeko at the very end, the after credits scene, she says the entire cast is here, and the entire cast is not here. Again, because it's from her perspective, she wouldn't have met Hachikuji. She hardly knew Kaiki's relevance. She doesn't even register Oshinomeme as being that important. There's no Kaganui, there's no Yotsugi, no Orgi, no Gaia Nezuko, no sisters. No sisters is weird. She knew the sisters. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of funny. The entire cast is here. No, they're not. Another interesting tidbit here is that Senjugahara at the very end, she says, I hate cute brats like you, and this causes Nadeko to smile. Again, she doesn't like being called cute, and she doesn't like the affection that she garners from that term. So Senjugahara pairing cute with a negative emotion like that is something that she hasn't heard before and causes her to smile. Again, a food for thought more than anything, I think. Kramer also brought up this Kana Hanazawa piece of trivia. I think a couple of other people did as well, maybe Gian Bueno, that Kana Hanazawa kind of went and said, hey, I don't really like playing these cutesy characters as much, and that caused Nishio Sin to maybe write some stuff. Again, there's an interview that was linked, I believe, that goes into this a little bit more, but it can be implied that Kana Hanazawa directly impacted the character arc of the character that she was already playing. She hated playing the cutesy characters, and then we're going to use that, and we're going to twist that, and you're going to get to show off your range a little bit more. And yeah, she killed it, so, she was right. She doesn't have to play cutesy characters all the time. The last comment I've got here is from MC Steve, which goes into a lot of the character names and kanji and what it all means. So Nadeko literally means caressable girl, and then has some implications about a flower. So I'm getting Nadeshko. Is that also Nadeshko from Yuru Camp? Is that about a flower as well? Probably. Japanese names are so cool. I mean, my name is just kind of lame. It's very British. Anyway, Sengoku literally means 1000 koku, which is a traditional unit of volume used to value in rice fields. So you could argue that there's kind of connection to Senjogahara there as well, which means Battlegrounds Field, so it's 1000 Battlegrounds Field. Again, I don't know. Koku's more typical reading is Ishi, which refers to a stone, which could be connected to Medusa. But the word for delusion, which is Morsor, can be written as blind snake or something. And there's a delusional proverb or something. Again, he goes into great detail here, and it's kind of impressive. I wish I knew this much about anything, honestly. And yeah, it goes into a lot of stuff about the other characters' names as well, before kind of halting himself there. A lot of stuff about Araragi and Senjogahara in there, and what their names actually mean. This is such a difference from, I guess Western media has like importance in names for sure, but not the same way that Eastern media does. I don't think. You know, somebody could be called Rose, and that could have some implications about them, but yeah, definitely not as deep as the other stuff. So I've decided to forego the recap here because I don't think it's going to be relevant. I don't think this arc is going to be taking place after what we just experienced. That would be very strange to me. I would imagine we're going to August or September if I had to make a prediction. Speaking of predictions, I guess we should go into Onimonogatari. What does Onimonogatari mean? So, like, Oni is like demon or monster or something to that effect. Evil thing that fights you. I know it from video games and stuff. Shut up. So, okay, monster story, demon story. Araragi? He had a bunch of stuff about being a monster and not being really at peace with that. Maybe there's some other translation for Onimono. Maybe that's what's getting me there, because Kabuki Mono, it wasn't Kabuki, it was Kabuki Mono, so maybe take that into account. Bakemono, it wasn't just Bake, it was Bakemono, so think about it from that perspective as well. They're kind of jamming two words together there. So whose arc is it? I've already kind of predicted an Araragi arc before, but there's other characters that have monstrous elements to them. I think Kambaro is due, so maybe it's a Kambaro arc. She's definitely due. I would like some Kambaro. It'd be a good change of pace after kind of evil-ass Nadeko. The other one I've got written down here is Yotsugi. So Yotsugi could have an arc or something. She has some stuff about being a monster and not exactly being human, kind of similar to Araragi in that regard. She was involved during August. I would imagine this story is going to take place either in August or September or early October. Not after the events of Atori. That's my guess. Other than that, I don't really have many predictions. I know this is 4 episodes, and I'm only doing 1 today, which might kind of stuff me up. But we'll see. I'm willing to take that risk today just to get something out this week. So yeah, bear with me in that regard. Just going to do my show stuff before we jump into episode 1 here. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord, talk about Monogatari on the Discord, talk about anything else on the Discord. It's kind of been popping off lately, actually, so that's been fun. And yeah, onward and upward with episode 1 of Onimonogatari right now. Rightio, got episode 1 of Onimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen there. 26 minutes and 3 seconds on that one, so please sync up accordingly. As always, picture in picture down below, and using the Call Girl subs. Just gonna give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Very bright outside. Hello. Hello, Augie. Demon. Who is... Yes, okay. So we're taking demon as the translation there. Okay. It's true. Surprisingly adept at being considerate. Okay? Question mark? Really? Are we going back in time? Also, Augie is so creepy. Someone had already read that part. Okay, strange. In the darkness. What are we doing? Oh, this is cool. In English, huh? Why does this rip? Hello, Hachikuju. This is so cool. What are we doing? Okay. That one's going to be easy to read the lyrics of. Shinobu time! Okay. Another Shinobu arc. 21st of August. Oh, yeah, okay. Yes. Really? Here? What's up? Very common type. Oh my god. It's true, there was. But she's there. Yes, thank you for the recap. Yes. He most certainly is. He just tries to go and save people. And what happened? Yeah, so you had to go home? Okay. Yes, it's true. And now today's the 21st. Right. Yeah, and that's when she ran into Hanakawa. Like she feels thinner. More like a slug. Are they? I honestly have no idea. Kind of. It depends what you interpret the shell as. Yeah. Yeah. It's true, yes. Nothing inside my backpack is important. Oh, okay. Interesting. I wonder how serious she's being there. Okay, okay, Hachikuji. Wait there then. Oh, are we being timed? I'll need to count this later. No, I think he made it in time. How's he supposed to pick it up? Yeah, he kind of aced that. I don't want that backpack anymore because you touched it. I don't think he did that. He would have had to do it very quickly. As you can tell. It's kind of funny. Fast food. Okay, so they're gonna go get a burger. Why would you... Being behind's better than being in front. Oh, and he loves it. But what happened? What is it? Whoa. The event horizon? Lots of stuff to read. What? Okay. Okay. Sup? The darkness. Fucking fix my eye there. Oh, I got something in my eye. No way. It was instinct. And Hachikuji knows too. It's like a black hole or something. A lot of Orgi in the start. Interesting. And lots of stuff about perception. It's there before you know it. This is very weird. Okay, I will. Aragi, please focus on the task at hand. Hold on tighter. Please. Task at hand, please. It's a very weird description of something, isn't it? Needs to be witnessed to take effect. A lot of stuff about perspective, right? Kiss my back. It's like she's biting his clothes. Feelings. Oh god, it's in the mirror? Oh, because you can see it behind you, right? Whoa. Did it brush her ear or something? And it, yeah, kind of got a shoulder too. Kind of looks weird with no ribbons. It most certainly does, especially you like rushing away on the bike. Is it still here? Don't run in red. Oh yeah, red lights, Augie, oh shit. Whoa. We're gonna crash. I feel like we're gonna crash. Suicide bombing? Excuse me? I have to rescue the girl. Whoa. Hello, Yotsugi. Whoa. And the rainbow too, huh? Oni-chan. We just met yesterday. Bit meta, for sure. All that convenience. She's still here. She's just dead. Yeah, seems like more trouble than it's worth. I don't really comprehend it either. It most certainly is. It most certainly was, according to her timeline. The big thing over there. Yeah. I don't think we can fight it. I can't really, like, see it. It's not funny, but it is. I would be too. Unlimited rulebook. Well, that's a cool shot. It was admirable. Did he have to take off all his clothes? Succession version? What? Was she trying to get his clothes off? Yeah, I think it's like vampire magic. Okay, calm down. What, just naked? Oh, look how high she is. Look at that. Thin yet macho. Okay, let's have a chat. I have no idea. It had a rainbow. Guy Nezuko's rainbows. Yes. Hello, corpse. Darkness itself. Orgy? Just the darkness. There's some implication about Shinobu. Is she like asleep? I think that was the implication from the end of Kabuki. Okay, so you weren't the target. But maybe you only perceived it that way. Yeah, she might. Let's have a chat. Oh, let's not have a chat. What's she up to? Okay. Okay. I like the red highlights on his hair. Well, there's two me's. Yeah. Good old Shinobu. You love Shinobu. From Meme. Yep. About the darkness. Senile geezer. She'll beat you up again. She might not know darkness. I don't think she should do that. Just some girl. She doesn't know everything. She only knows what she knows. Yeah, good point, actually. Okay, bye. I thought you were interested in his muscular body, though. Thank you. I'll repay you in some way. Yeah, do that. Something other than muscle sounds more perverted than it should. At once. Hmm. Yes. Kishu? Yeah. What's up? Somebody tell Senju Kahara. Yeah. Somebody take a picture and then tell Senju. Yeah, what a lesson. Great. She showed more character here, which is different for sure. I didn't read that part. I'll need to go back. Gemu. Oh. I was just kind of in the zone there. I was expecting that to go for longer. Really? Oh no, there's way more. I was like, that felt short. Because it was. Oh yeah, this is a similar ED again. But with Hachikuji with her head in a book and Shinobu. Okay. What does this mean to say? And we're going up. That's very interesting. So that definitely was in the last ED. Oh god, the CG. In the last ED with an Adeko, it definitely was Shinobu steering the ship. And these two are just vibing in the sky. This is a great flipping. I love the CD. It's a great reuse of resources too. So you don't need a new song. Just flip a concept to create meaning. That's great. Because we're raising up. Think about it, everybody. Think about it. Into the sky. And then, yeah, okay. Now what happens? Little post-credit scene? Oh. Okay, great. What a beast. I do enjoy a good vampire punch. Okay, what do you have to say about proceeding, Shinobu? Yeah, you're too busy running around doing random shit. Lots of stuff. I thought about this too. Like, you're not going to get something past her now. Yeah, it was a big darkness. I love the colors here too. What, about the smooch? Why? Well, tell Senjo. I guess you would be peeved too, right? Okay. I guess that's why Ononoki did it as well. Listen to the darkness. Yeah, okay. A little bit of jealousy. Oh, sure. And picking her up too. Okay. Are you Italian? Get her to shut up, sure. Oh, nice art style. Should we tell Senjukahara about this, or...? Because it was very important to him. God, there's so much text. Mate, I got no clue. Ooh, in the past. What is it? Okay. Metaphorical darkness too, maybe. And why is it returning now? Is there some kind of connection? Oh. Okay. Okay, and then little preview there. Rightio. Rightio, jumping into a little bit of analysis on episode 1 of Onimonogatari. Okay, so that was episode 1 of Onimonogatari, and I can't say it was what I expected at all. We are seemingly going to do a flashback, I think, to way in the past. And we're linking Araragi and the past servant, which is something that I wish we talked about a lot before. But now we're going to do it, so that's great. Either way, as you can see, I've got the timeline up here. Very cool. And we'll probably set it up something like this. So this takes place directly after Kabuki Monogatari, which isn't what I expected at all. It calls into question why Otori Monogatari is where it is in the story. Strange. It's a strange little side tangent that we just go on. Sure. Because there was some conjecture about watching Hana Monogatari after Kabuki Monogatari, right? So I thought, hey, Hana Monogatari would be where we're continuing after here, because that's why they would want it there, because that makes more chronological sense. It doesn't fuck with people as much. It doesn't drop kind of a plot line for a long time and then come back to it. But that isn't the case. We're clearly back in August after Kabuki Monogatari, like literally after. On the way back, we get chased by a big darkness thing that can hardly be perceived. Just very weird. And now I've written these 2 lines here. So Hachikuji and Araragi go back to Araragi's place to get the backpack, after which they are pursued by this darkness. Hachikuji and Araragi are saved by Yotsugi before Shinobu explains her history with the darkness, if I can read what I just wrote. And I guess this is now like a break, because there will be more. Yeah, I've inverted commas darkness as well, because I think that it may be both darkness as a concept, as a feeling, right, as well as a physical manifestation of darkness, right? What is the darkness inside of Shinobu? And if that is allowed to perpetuate, what could it mean? This is editing me. I don't know if I talk about this later, but upon recollection of the episode, it seems pretty obvious to me that it's like Shinobu's literal feeling of darkness, and it was following Araragi and Hachikuji because it was following Shinobu, and Shinobu was inside Araragi. That seems like a pretty obvious solution for why it seemed to be chasing them. It's interesting, right? I think we've explored a lot of this stuff already through Kabuki, right? There was a lot of that. There was a lot of, I was responsible for the end of the world because they took the thing from me. And now we're going back and we're having another look at, like, Shinobu again, and what her history, and what specifically the relationship with the servant, I think we're setting up, did to inform this darkness. And again, I thought a lot of that was subtext in Kabuki, which is, this has happened to me before. If this happens to me again with Araragi, I might not come back this time, right? And that's when we see the really distraught kiss shot at the end of Kabuki as well. Such a great ending, by the way. Great ending to that arc. Very interesting. I wonder where we're going. I really do. Either way, I've got the episode up here. I've decided to go full screen if there's anything, like, around, I guess. So the other thing I can do now as a solution is probably just this. I can hide and show myself. Very cool. So if something's behind me that I want everybody to look at, I can probably do that as well. But I kind of went into this before. What did I think about the episode? It's good. I liked it. It's clearly all set up again for what's going to happen. There's some Orgy presence, which I'm always interested in. I'm always interested in a bit of Orgy. Shinobu's back. Yotsugi's back. Hachikuji's involved. What's not to like? Hanakawa, Senjukahara, out of the way. We don't care about them. Everybody else? Hell yeah. Also, where's Kambaru? I miss Kambaru. Anyway, whatever. So we start with creepy looking Orgy walking down some stairs. Got some crow stuff going on, kind of? Or is it doves? It's hard to say. And Demon! She's a demon. Or Demon is involved somewhere in the story. Demon, and then we're talking about Oshino Shinobu. She was definitely, could be perceived as a demon in the past, especially to a Japan about 400 years ago. Oh, we're talking about the name. We feel no discomfort with the name. The name just fits in such a satisfactory way. Again, her name is Kiss Shot, and then there's a bunch of other shit. Heart Under Blade. Yeah, that. Kiss Shot, Ace Roller, Orion, Heart Under Blade. The cold-blooded, hot-blooded, iron-blooded babe. Little bit of Hanakotoba here with the roses, maybe blood roses, something like that. Vampire memory past, things concluded, things that possibly never happened. The veracity is unconfirmed. There's going to be a lot of very quick text this episode, and I wonder what we're trying to say with it as a decision. Again, Araragi's very quick thinking in these scenes, so maybe that's just the information overload from that. But it's all very quick. It's very hard to understand. She's casting away the form and the name of Kiss Shot, Ace Roller, Orion, Heart Under Blade. Again, absolute gobbledygook for people that haven't seen Kizu, which is most of the people watching this as it aired. Again, insane. Insane. But the truth is, above all else, she is my salvation. Yeah, think about Kizu. That's kind of true, right? He was just kind of meandering through life before stumbling down into that subway and seeing her. Despite being from the past, she's quite considerate, and then this is a tale from her past. She's also riding a cow in that image before. And then, yeah, Augie's still just running through the school. School's empty. Afternoon. Everyone's gone home except Augie. Something like that. She's very happy about what's been going on. Could just be imagery, but there's some kind of connection between Augie and Shinobu as well. Kind of implied through Otori, right? Right there at the end. And then Araragi kind of talking to the camera here a little bit. This time we'll talk about how such whims of hers worked 400 years in the past. Let's rewind her clock. So she may be considered considerate, but now she's just acting on her whims. But how have her whims changed from 400 years ago to now? And lots of really strange imagery of Shinobu. She was riding a cow, now it almost looks like Cinderella or something, but she's got a top hat. Like, look, she's killing it. She's an absolute star. And it says, of course there is more to the story. What kind of events she faced within this country 400 years ago? Again, later in the episode, 400 years ago is when she visited for the first time and made this servant. I think that's the law, I believe. As for the reason why, as usual, I helped others and they helped me in return. Doing something despite being unable to do anything. What? I don't understand. Again, Augie's still being creepy. I do like the sleeves, it's a nice touch. Well, I had someone read that part. What? Either way, Augie is looking at Araragi in the classroom and they're about to start talking, but I don't know when this is at all. Strange. As for me, Araragi Koyomi, I'll tell the tale while reminiscing about her. I'll tell the tale while reminiscing about her. Why would you reminisce about Shinobu? Oh yeah, their connection got severed. Right. Weird. Maybe that has the darkness to do with it. But then they're definitely back together by October. Weird. Weird. So this takes place, this conversation with Augie, in between all this? Reminiscing. Very interesting word. And then it says, I want you to think about it. And then we jump into the opening. Let us begin. Crazy opening, for sure. Less of a skip ahead than the others. More of a, like, these are the concepts. Have a look at them. We're talking about Shinobu. Oh, and then this opening. Oh my goodness. So I guess you'd call it it's like a gothic choir into like a shredding rock song with a very simple set of lyrics. It's mostly instrumental, so it's going to be a lot of looking at visuals. First we've got In the Darkness. So we're talking about the darkness in this episode a lot, so that kind of tracks with the lyrics. And yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of this. A lot of this is a good example for it because it's right there in that corner. Yeah, look, I'm gone. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of her, is my point. And by that I mean kiss shot. By that I mean adult Shinobu. We're almost looking at like a shattered village here as well in our visual. Moments, secrets. And okay, here's another thing I've noticed. We're using the art style for the EDs, which is also subsequently the art style of the flashback sequences we get in Kizu. So definitely this art style's associated with the past, and that's why we're using it here. Moments, secrets. Now we're passing through, it doesn't look like past Japan. Looks like some overpasses and stuff, but it's snowing. Regrets. Moments, secrets, regrets. Never? Moments, secrets, regrets, never. And lie, and they're gonna go lie, like that. And Hachikuji on this bridge as well, so Hachikuji's going to stay involved. There was some other character on one of the overpasses as well that I didn't quite grab. It might have been Augie. Yeah, just very epic sounding. I don't know how else to describe it. It feels like some boss battle in an epic video game or something. We're zooming in on the eye of Shinobu here as well. This is our Shinobu too. And it's got this intense pattern in it, which is being repeated in the backgrounds as well. Yotsuki here too. Yeah, how this pattern is within all these other characters, because this is Augie, and then finally Araragi. Yeah, this opening's very different, but I think it's really cool. Couple of crosses, then a look at Shinobu and some stars flying next to her or something, and then straight into Onimonogatari, demon story. It's called Shinobu Time. Remember that famous scene in Monogatari where she turns to the camera and says, "It's Shinobuing time"? That was my favorite part. And here's a confirmation of timeline directly after the events of Kabuki Monogatari. We even get this nice convenient little recap here. This would have been, mwah, if I was watching this week to week, this would have been great. Nice little recap and where we were. Me and my partner Shinobu experienced a very common type of time travel together. You know, just your regular garden variety time travel. We failed in our mission in the time travel, which isn't entirely true, but sure. Personally, there was an emotional reason behind the time travel, which was the Hachikuji connection, who I'm walking with now. To defend my honor, this is petty. I wish to make this easy to follow. Okay, weird. So he's like talking to the camera there, like, I want to make this easy to follow. And then she says, I didn't want to be saved at all. You're being self-satisfied. So again, they're... it's very funny. They're like meta criticizing the actions, the dramatic actions from mere episodes ago. They're like, that was stupid. It's like, well, we had an whole arc about it. It's not that stupid. There was some kind of profound nature to it all, I think. That's funny. I must make it to school, otherwise Senjukahara and Hanakawa might kill me twice over otherwise. So yeah, he's on his way back to school, but he has to go find the backpack at home first. Again, this is like fourth wally. Sensally, it was quite a while ago, right? I've never heard sensally before. In a sense, I guess. In a sense, it was quite a while ago. So that, yeah, again, reminding the audience that, hey, this is all about the backpack, remember? Kind of. Hachikuji had been wandering all over town while he was trying to change history. Again, this links into what we know about the situation in that she said the same thing to Hanakawa at the start of the 21st, at the start of, what was that one called? Nekomonogatari Shiro. Yes. There was probably more than I like of, let's assault Hachikuji in this episode. It was funny. It gave me giggles for sure, but but yeah, she definitely is a child. Anyway, there's lots of talk about a slug here too. Slugs versus snails versus hermit crabs versus, and I wonder if any of this is going to be relevant going forward, because she did get her backpack back. Kind of the conflation with so there's a shell for a snail, right? And the shell is definitely the backpack. So without the backpack, I'm a slug. But what is a backpack for a snail if they were human? Is it their bones? Is it their skin? Is it something that hides what lies underneath? Or is it the thing that holds them together? But then Hachikuji treats her backpack with such little care. She doesn't care about anything that's in it, she says, unless she's lying. Again, the backpack in the whole metaphor of Hachikuji's situation is that, hey, this is what I was going to bring over to my mom when I went to see my mom, right? So there must be some importance to its contents, right? There must be. I feel like she's burying the lead there. I have no idea about this. Are slugs and snails even the same creature? I genuinely don't know. Yeah, I guess they aren't, because it regressed from having a shell. Regressed? Interesting word there too. So dropping the shell was a regression instead of a progression. I like this visual for a human without bones too. I think that's pretty good. This is kind of what he was standing like when he was about to assault Hachikuji at the end as well. Then very quick, oh yeah, oh well. Weird. Like, it's such a meaningless conversation right now to Araragi, the way he's perceiving it. The impression of the hermit crab is pretty strong as well. It feels like you can take the shell off of snails, but they keep important stuff in there. You can't do that. Yeah, there's important stuff in the shell. Don't break the shell. Or don't leave the shell. Again, I don't know the anatomy of a snail very much. But yeah, don't do that. They die. Is that related? Yeah, again, she's Mayoi snail. She would have the snail-type attributes, but she doesn't consider what's in there important. Weird. They're obviously speaking in riddles a little bit right now because it'll all come to fruition by the end, but again, just concepts to keep in mind. Along with this idea of the darkness, these are the main two things I'm drawing from the episode. So yeah, you don't care about the contents of your backpack, yet you've been looking all over for it for Araragi to get it back from your house, but you still forgot it. You say there's some feeling that I can't live without it, but it has no importance to me. It's a little bit contradictory. And then Hachikuji Mayoi will simply become Mayoi the slug. And this little look here, this little sad, forlorn look. Yeah, and the zoom in as we do that, as we're looking down this way. Again, mouth there too. Like, just, yeah. Like, I'm keeping an eye on... I think this is going to become relevant. I really do. So without it, I become a slug. Now, slugs don't have a good reputation, but neither do snails, really. It's a weird distinction. And then we get a little bit of this stuff, so ha ha ha. I'm not following you in the house because I've not lost my precautions as a girl. I'm not following you in there all alone with nobody else around. I do admire how they get a lot of character out of Hachikuji, right? Again, turning this way, eyes back this way. Very cool. So this way for that, this way for that. Unsure, you know what I mean? Like, it's simple stuff, right? Because, again, this isn't animation intensive, it's art intensive, right? But it contributes so much to the character of the show. Like, compare it with this frame of Araragi, which I would call quite bad. Derpy old face, body's a little bit weird looking. Again, it's quick, so it doesn't impact the quality of the episode at all, but just comparing those two, the Hachikuji one is so much better. It's all in the eyes, too. Again, yeah, immediate contrast again, this is so much better. Like the lighting here, the underlighting giving it like a scary factor. Like, you have 10 seconds to dash up there. I'm not waiting any longer. And she says, dush. And then we run off and we start a timer. And whenever we see a timer on screen, of course, we need to time how long it took. To me, that took about 7 seconds, so he's pretty quick to get upstairs and back down with a backpack. That's pretty good. And then, yeah, she's being a little bratty. Don't touch my stuff. But you told me to get it. Oh, now it's ruined because you touched it. Yeah, as we're getting these reverse shots, I'm just focusing on Hachikuji and the way they framed her a lot. Like, even here, where she's turning directly around, head up, like a child, right? She turned this way. Araragi meeting her on a level here, too. Lots of little stuff. Like, again, we don't realize it, but these are all decisions made by somebody for the way the show should look. And I think it's interesting to break even the small stuff down like this. Like a slight curvature of the world in the background too. Just, yeah, very interesting decisions all over it. I think I ignore how good Monogatari is sometimes, right? I miss the forest for the trees. Like, the production and just the shot selection and the general flow and everything. Like, the artistic, aesthetic parts of the show are just so killer, and I don't talk about it enough. And then, yeah, little dream space here, screaming at a mountain. You really are the worst. Again, all just emphasizing this brat factor from Hachikuji, and I do love a bratty character. And then we immediately change tact, but going to go find something to eat. Go get a bit of fast food or something. I'm a ghost, so if you spent lunchtime with me, if people saw you, they would think that you're like a loser, or you buy like food for your deceased relative. Which is kind of dark, but pretty funny. Are you unhappy? There could be no unhappiness in living off fast food, you know. There definitely is unhappiness in that. I've lived off fast food before. Says you. I don't really know who or when we're talking to there. Maybe is Shinobu talking or something? Weird. I don't quite understand that. Either way, this is kind of my classic Monogatari split in the scene. We stopped having fun, now it's time for the plot, and there's no music, the music's cut off, and we're introducing the next half here. I've only entered Araragi-san's home at night to watch over him. To begin with, what you actually did yesterday was practically kidnapping, you know. By the time the series ended, there will be no more novels like so many zombies endlessly being brought back to life. There are a lot of things I'd like to eat, but none that I'd like to eat with Araragi-san. Hello, hi, I'm back again. I reread it, and it's like default responses that Hachikuji would have said in the situation before the situation changes. It's emphasizing that this isn't going the way we expected it to go. Like, the scene has had a dramatic change, and the expected responses from Hachikuji are being interrupted by this darkness. I'm really confused about that. Any clarity there would be appreciated. Either way, scene stops. There's some weird stuff afoot, definitely. And the way they describe this weird thing is so very interesting to me. They both witness it. Now, what is it? It's first presented like this, like almost like some black bars or something. And then immediate color changes. We've got green background, red eyes. They both look at each other. And then lots of text. I'm gonna need to pause all this. It was a mystery. Mystery. This was my only answer. Even the question of whether or not it was an aberration was not one that we, or well, I could answer. Yeah, we, or well, I. Definitely Shinobu. I couldn't pinpoint what it was. Was it an aberration? Was it not? We find out in the end that it isn't. We still have no knowledge to what it actually is, but it could destroy this town. That's the implication from Shinobu. I wonder what it is. Again, I'm thinking more metaphorically here. Some darkness from Shinobu's past that's coming to light. She's been having a very good time with Araragi. It's time to bring back some baggage. So it's something that you can't see or perceive as such, but it's always there chasing you. Right? Much like your past, much like something from your past. You can't escape it. It's always going to be the same distance behind you. And if you can't see it, it means you can't admit the perception that you can't see it. Which is it's almost paradoxical, I read it as. And again, this text is 1,000,000 miles an hour on screen. 1,000,000,000,000,000. So very quick thoughts from Araragi. Again, this is all happening in half a second that they're realizing this. I was witness to something I could not see. This feels like a contradiction, but that expression is the most precise. You can't realize that you can't see it. In other words, it doesn't exist. But it definitely is there, but invisible, but chasing you. And both Hachikuji and Araragi saw it. And we get all these different flashes of locations around the town as we're talking about it. Even this looks like farmland, rural. Maybe this is way in the past. But then this is an electrical transformer here, like an electrical station or something. In the broad daylight of summer, perfect visibility. In this case, I was able to perceive this invisible thing. But why now? Why now? I know that Gaia Nezuko, an episode, and Yotsugi are in town. Is this what they're in town about? It had some rainbow effects on it, and we've associated rainbows with Gaia Nezuko. We will see. Again, I think my strongest prediction for sure is definitely the stuff with Orgi before, and how that fits into the severing of the connection between Shinobu and Araragi. And it's perceived like this. This is the visual we're using for it. We've got a lot of floating Japanese characters. We've used that a lot with aberrations in the past, and I don't know if this is what a black hole looks like, but it kind of looks like one to me, right? It's just kind of following them around. So a real quick flash in, really sketchy view of the darkness, then this real zoom into Araragi again, looks behind him, and then it was intuition and instinct. It was a terrible premonition, and now we're going to run. And yeah, both of them perceive that at the exact same time, and take us out of here. Like, all that in like half a second. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? He asked Hachikuji for her perception on it. Is that thing still chasing us? What does it look like? Well, it's something. Something is chasing us. Well, it's like it's there before you know it, right? So you're like looking for it, can't see it, right there in your vision. Kind of like that. Yeah, and Hachikuji, who's normally pretty detail-oriented, that's a very vague way to express it. I think this is the only way you can express it. And because it's invisible, you can't accurately gauge its distance. Okay. And then we get a lot of stupid things about, hey, cling onto my back. And then press your childlike assets against me. I don't know, it's all very weird to talk about. Get help, Araragi. This is essentially what I'm saying. With a smack of her lips, not belike a little girl, Hachikuji may reluctantly, I presume, clung to my back. Should I throw off the backpack too? No, you don't have to. So more importantly than that, forget about the backpack, just hold on to me tighter. So she can't really perceive it, but she thinks it's getting closer because she feels more oppressed by it. And she doesn't want to look at it because aberrations that curse people by just looking at them do exist. Sometimes the perception of something is dangerous. Stop pretending to dispel it like a Mikoshi Nudo by looking might not work. What? What is that about? We're going to skip the part where she kisses his back too and like bites his hoodie. He perceives it in the mirror, and this causes some kind of disturbance as well. So he's writing very erratically at the moment. We glaze past it. It eliminates some of Hachikuji's uniform on her shoulder, as well as the ribbon from her hair. So it seemingly has a quality where it destroys matter, and it was a very close call. But since my hair's down and my clothes are torn, it might look like I was assaulted and about to be kidnapped by you, Araragi. Which isn't great, but it also kind of looks like that, and that also kind of comes to fruition by the end. Anyway, it's weird. And then we get a red light, right? Orgi, red lights, stop, danger, safety, run the red light, don't run the red light. It was unsafe, I couldn't ignore it, I had to ignore it. However, here I failed.
Yes, I foundered. I strayed onto the car lane. I floundered, maybe? And then we get this really awesome visual here of the lights all moving in different directions too. And the really discordant piano music here really fits it too. It's like he's wonky. That's the feeling I'm getting from the scene. Self-destruction, suicide bombing, completely useless something. Wherever I tried to turn, there it was. That darkness. So wherever you go, it's there right in front of you. But I really want to get Hachikuchi out of this. Of course, he's thinking selfless about it. Goes to grab the backpack and let her escape, rescue the girl. And then we get an unlimited rulebook out of nowhere, and Yotsugi saves the day. Rules with many exceptions. So again, I'm not quite sure how the whole rulebook works, but she like writes stuff in it and then it happens, and that's kind of like her power. And there's the visual, we know exactly who it is. And then, oh my god, power lines. No, it's Lain, she's back. We lose the mic to the darkness. And then the rest of the episode is here with Ononoki-chan. Well, a lot of the rest of the episode anyway. She kind of stops him from, thanking her, and then says, no, it's not time for that yet. And then says, so what's that thing over there? And then Araragi's like, I thought it was your role to save me and then tell me what it was. Very meta in a story sense. It's like, no, that's troubling if you expect that convenience from me. This isn't going to be explained easily, is my perception from this, right? It's something, it's not an aberration, it's not something we've dealt with before in a similar way. You're too weak mentally, I'm disappointed. Again, so much of these are like contradictory and like 2 points of view in the same head to me. Again, it feels like Shinobu has started invading these, which are normally just Araragi's thoughts. So Yotsugi is already kind of regretting saving him too, which is great, and kind of questions Araragi, someone who finds life so valuable as an undead vampire. Again, I've never really thought about that. That's pretty contradictory as well. Okay, and then she calls him Devil Boy as well. So Oni-chan, right? Go really hit that Oni, because it's got 2 eyes, before hitting that big bro, right? But Oni-chan, Devil Boy. Of course, that's the connection to Onimonogatari that we can draw from a little bit. That's the first mention of the title in any way. Are we going to fight this thing or going to run from this thing? The very tense music in the background, very quick back and forth shots between the two, sometimes cut to a bit of a wide. Lots and lots and lots of cuts. Lots of cuts. He also checks under her skirt for more aberrations, because of course he did, because he's Araragi. This is a real return to form for Araragi, something we haven't really seen in a while. Him just being truly, truly perverted. Yotsugi calls them extraneous movements, which are great. Unlimited rulebook, success inversion, and we're back at the cram school. Because of course we are. This is where we've seen Yotsugi before as well, during Nisei. She had a fancy name for it, but she essentially just jumped away, which is funny. She's kind of almost chuny, a little bit, right? She's chuny, but she can back it up, which means she isn't chuny anymore. And then she is equally as horny for Araragi, so this is a bit of a surprise. I guess all the girls in the show are somewhat horny for Araragi, right? At least a little bit. And yeah, Yotsugi follows suit. She does like his boy muscles. Not too big, not too small, just right. That's kind of her perception on it anyway. So the whole thing with the Araragi muscles, isn't it kind of like some implied Spider-Man type situation where he got powers and then got muscles as a result? Like he was buff. He was a buff young vampire boy in Kizu, and that's kind of just stuck around. What, do you not like being the object of somebody's ogling, Araragi? Well, now the shoe's on the other foot, huh? Can we talk about something else? Can we talk about something else when you're talking about like women for half the runtime? Anyway. Funny. I think it's meant to be like the little role reversal there. Does she go to try to touch Araragi's muscles here too, and then he slaps her away? Is that what happened? I have too many clues. You could say my entire life consists of clues. I have many. But then he says no idea. Again, the idea of darkness versus this physical darkness. There's definitely a lot of darkness in Araragi's life. And we're talking a lot about perception. That they said something like, it's like something that it'll curse you if you perceive it. It'll curse you if you're looking directly at it. Is this going to be about confronting one's darkness? I think of just a commonplace quasi-vampire that goes to school. It's like, I don't think that's commonplace. And then he goes through all of the different aberrations that we've been through. Vampire, cat, crab, snail, monkey, snake, bee, bird, and what was the last one there? And corpse, yeah, Yotsugi. Is the implication here that she's showing him this as well? And then he tries to look away. Again, I'm getting like really strange vibes off these two. Oh, I should note the background as well. Mwah, the baby blue. Great decision. Such a sense of calm after the sharp like greens and reds that we saw during the chase. Like there's no danger of the thing reappearing right now based on the color of the background. There's no danger to it. It would be nice if what we're dealing with is just the darkness, but it's something beyond that. It's merely a phenomenon affixed to an ordinary aberration. So okay. Darkness like emotional darkness, like a dark place that you go back to, but also darkness as the idea of the unknown going forward. It's a very broad idea, darkness, for sure. And we're talking circles around it, contradictions. We're unsure how to even process what it is. There's something in that. That's definitely what we're getting at. And I'm not quite sure how to put it all together yet. Yotsugi ponders and posits that maybe it's a natural phenomenon. Maybe it wasn't specifically targeting you. Maybe it was just around. But we saw it following them. But maybe it only followed them because of the perception, or maybe because Shinobu was there and she's the one that it's involved with. I was trying to be polite. The duty of confidentiality of an exorcist was stronger than I anticipated. He was just kind of asking where Kaganui was. I guess I should say that, yeah, like, where Kaganui isn't here, we can't contact her, but she is doing work. Doesn't matter, everything will come out in the evening when Shinobu comes out after her rest. And we get this great look on Yotsugi here. Like, I don't want to be here for that. I'm sure she has some knowledge about that darkness too. I think more than we even realize right now. So Shinobu eats aberrations is another thing we're bringing up. It came with a little audio sting too. I don't think she's going to be able to eat this one. I think it's going to eat her. Because it isn't an aberration. If it was an aberration, she could simply just eat it. But no, it's not. It's not that powerful, you know what I mean? No, it's more powerful than that. It's a different kind of power, something that you can't consume that easily. I'll ask Hanakawa about it later. Who's Hanakawa? Someone that knows everything. So you're still perceiving Hanakawa this way as perfection, which is something we face at the end of Nekoshiro, right? And you come to see as well. Come to see her faults. But yeah, she is somebody that is consciously aware of her limits. Yeah, that's a nice little piece of Hanakawa stuff, just to keep us Hanakawa heads satisfied. She's being very okay. There's a change here in the scene too, and Ononoki's being very bashful, like kind of looking down, twiddling her like toes on the ground, like very very cutesy. And we get to the concept of thanking her for her service of saving them. I'll repay you in some way. With muscles? No, something other than muscles. But for me, who, doesn't know when she'll be gone from this world, that isn't enough. I need an immediate kind of reward. And I didn't know that she was in Araragi like this. I don't think she did until now either. Again, isn't the whole deal with her is that she's like 15 or 16 within a 12-year-old body of a 100-year-old corpse or something like that? So the body itself has been dead for a while. The person that inhabited the body was 12, and she, the perception of whoever she is 15, 16, something like that. And there's this scene on screen, it says at once, and it's got a really weird border. Again, I'm thinking Shinobu's thinking some stuff here, a little bit jealous. And then she gets in very close here, and then look this way, chew, like little smooch sound. And then out of nowhere, there's a kiss. Oh no! How are we gonna deal with this? I don't know, just don't tell Senju Gahara and you'll be okay. But there's one other person that is very jealous that is inside you right now and perceiving all of this. It says Nani Nune no and then Lali Lule no. Isn't that some like Metal Gear shit? Anyway. And then you cheated. It's not how cheating works, but that's funny. And we get this face from Araragi the whole time. And yeah, she's being a little bit bratty towards Shinobu here as well. And again, this border, like Shinobu's perceiving it. Was it a spiteful remark? Was this just a spite? Or was it something else? I guess we're going to have to say. And then kind of straight into the ED, but we do have some post-credit stuff with Shinobu where we dive into our ideas a little bit more. Now this ending, very similar to the previous ending. As we can see, there's little images here of past stuff. I don't know what all this is. That's some Shinobu shit, but that's Hachikuji. And we have Hachikuji on the bed, lying back, book in head thing. And then Shinobu floats down from the ceiling. And then she's the captain of the ship. Let me drive the boat. But instead of like an actual like submarine, like it was for Nadeko, it was demonstrating her descent. Here we're ascending. Here we're almost going to the clouds. To heaven? something like that maybe. Either way, we're rising up. We're going to the light. We're going away from the darkness almost too. And now you can think about these lyrics from last time as very general. They apply to both the situations of basically everybody involved. Yeah, I simply just want you. And we get these really weird CG Hachikujis in the background too. Like, look at them. That's kind of crazy looking. It's like a 3D render of this art style, which doesn't work at all, but it's really cool looking. Like her crossing the streets and stuff in the back. And again, no perception of this from Hachikuji, and Shinobu's kind of watching on, just like, oh yeah, in the back. And we're switching roles a lot here, lots of different stuff. We're kind of traveling through the stars, us together, to wherever it is we're going, almost like a Northern Lights here. Yeah, this is a fantastic idea. Fantastic. I love, we're creating meaning of flipping things, and I think Monogatari is really good at that. Like, we're reusing assets, but it's creating more meaning than even creating new assets would. And of course, rising right up into the clouds, that's where I'm getting this heaven idea from. So Araragi gets the realization that he's now alone and can do things to Hachikuji, and he turns into like a beast boy. But we get our classic vampire punch to stop him, which is great. This is a good thing. I hope the vampire punch sticks around. Again, it's manifested through a lot of jealousy too, right? I'm going to punch you because you're not looking at me, you're looking at some other girl. It's different from the little pouty stuff that Shinobu would do in the past during Bake, right? Where now she's taking agency and protecting Araragi from other girls. And the little visual of an alarm flashes up too. Like, she got woken up by that alarm when he was going to do something like that. But I think she's been cognizant of a lot of things that have been going on through this whole segment. Yeah, we're almost in the clouds right now as well, with the blues and the whites. Again, this feeling of a haven, that's what I'm getting. It's very interesting difference of the framing of the cram school compared to other parts of the story so far, where the cram school has been very negatively framed. Especially Kizu. Looks scary in Kizu. So yeah, she's beating around the bush here a little bit, but because of the sensory connection between the two, she can now perceive, like, when Araragi is unsettled. And he was unsettled before when he got that kiss. And he thinks it's about the darkness. No, it's about the kiss. He tries to change the subject here. No, I'm talking about the kiss. Oh, what a brat. He pushed his lifelong partner aside and did such acts with a Shikigami girl. Stop, but listen, I need to tell you about the darkness. I need to tell you about the imminent threat. It's like, I refuse. And yeah, she's just kind of like scolding him right now, trying to bait a response, right? But I don't think she gets the response that she intended, which is a kiss. I'm gonna kiss part of myself as well. Again, they're connected, so this is weird. I don't know what to make of this. I guess it's to show her that she isn't unwanted. She calls him Italian because, they're very that's very stereotypical though. They're very touchy-feely, right? They're big hugs, big kisses when you meet each other. So she doesn't interpret this romantically, or at least trying not to. Either way, it's to get her to shut up a little bit as well, so he tells the story about the darkness. The midsummer adventure was completely and utterly pointless. Why the hell did you waste one whole volume on that nonsense? You must be stupid, just die. Oh wait, you're half vampire, so you can't really die? What are we ever going to do with you? Jeez. What are we talking about? Who is talking? Well, being detested to the bone by a young girl is a rare experience that might actually be worth celebrating, so I'm not exactly against putting up with it, that said. So essentially he just explains what just happened to Shinobu. Weird. What was all that text? Just so we're clear, I swear on every god's name that I haven't laid a finger on Hachikuji's backpack since she forgot it at my place yesterday. I might have been called a cruel man with a Lolita complex, but my moral fiber hasn't deteriorated to the extent that I put my hands on a girl's private property. But you did, you just picked it up. It's fine. I'm a gentleman, a caballero, I say? What does that mean? What is a caballero? Oh, it literally just means gentleman. Okay, weird. This is a good time. I'm a vampire, so I don't need to be all that regular with my food intake. However, old habits die hard, and Hachikuji's with me right now too. It might not be a bad idea to have lunch with her. So this is kind of Araragi retelling the story? What? I don't understand. But it's all about the darkness. So the darkness isn't an aberration, and it's implied Shinobu has some history with it. That phenomenon has no name. That thing you call the darkness is something I've seen in the past.
Darkness from my past? How long ago are we talking? 400 years. And that's when we're talking about at the start of the arc, at that scene before the opening. It was the previous time I visited this country, in other words, back when I made my first minion. Her first servant. The precursor to you, Araragi. We need to talk about that, because he ended up killing himself. So what is this darkness? And she was swallowed up by said darkness. Now, she does the swallowing generally. She eats things, right? And this thing swallowed her up. I'd rather not speak about it, but now that it has surfaced, the worst case scenario is if I leave it be, and the whole town will turn to ruin because of it. Thus it begins, late as it may be. And we're going to jump into a flashback next episode, I think. And yeah, that's the end of that episode. So what did I think? Yeah, it's really good. Intriguing concepts for the setup. Lots of characters, lots of people involved in this arc, which is cool. Got a little bit of Augie. We love Augie. Kind of. She's also really evil and weird, but I don't know. Yotsugi was really fun this episode. She got some great chuckles. She's very as always very blunt, but seemingly has some feelings for Araragi too, which is a revelation. Other than that, yeah, just pretty good stuff out of Hachikuji and Shinobu as well. It looks like we're jumping into a bit of a flashback next episode. This was about as well put together as the rest of second season so far, which is to say, fuck yeah, it is. It looks fucking awesome. And yeah, the opening's really cool. The ending is a great switch of concepts. Music throughout was pretty great. Very discordant. Very I wouldn't listen to it on my own time, but pretty cool. Fit the scenes. And yeah, can't wait for next week to watch more. Sorry about only the one this week, but yeah, still hitting that down off the Panadol. We'll see how I go. Either way, just my chill stuff before I leave. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord. Love the Discord. Discord. Alright, I'll catch you guys next week for more Onimonogatari, more Monogatari second series, more Monogatari in general. I'll catch you guys later.